It says, do not despise your small beginnings because you can greatly be enlarged.
Hey there, Albion. Are you ready to discover the hidden gems of our community? I'm Cassidy Porter, your host and proud Albion resident. Join me on Brick by Brick, the podcast that celebrates the people, places, and stories that make Albion so special. Together, we'll explore the rich history of our town, from its manufacturing roots to its vibrant present. We'll chat with local leaders, volunteers, and small business owners to learn more about the incredible work they're doing to make Albion a better place. So whether you're a lifelong resident or just visiting, tune in to Brick by Brick, and let's discover the heart and soul of Albion, one story or brick at a time. Welcome back to the Brick by Brick podcast. I'm your host, Cassidy Porter, and today I'm joined by the ever so talented artist, Cheryl Bell. Miss Bell has been creating her signature tote bags since 2020 with her business, Ultimate Reward. The perfect gift for any loved one are these amazing tote bags that she handcrafts. So throughout her time as a small business owner, Ms. Bell has participated in countless craft shows, artist galleries, and farmers markets, including work with the Albion Arts Commission and the Festival of the Forks. So Ms. Bell is also active within the Albion community with the Sister City Committee and has hosted students from our sister city for more than 15 years and has traveled with a mission team across the world multiple times a year, which is very exciting.
Very exciting.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing the beautiful work that you create. So
thank you for having me. You know, it's always a pleasure to be able to bring these bags and show what I do. I started very young. My mother taught me how to sew, and I always said, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I find myself doing it again. Just loving to sit in hours of solitude, music, cutting and crafting, and just really, truly enjoy doing it. It's just something I thought would just be a pastime, but it's I do have an LLC for it through Ultimate Reward. So wow. It's just something I love to do, and I think people enjoy carrying them.
So before we dive deeper into your work and the passion that you have, I would love to hear a little bit more about your Albion story and the connections you have to our community.
Well, you know, I came to Albion out of college, and I moved here and just thought this was just a wonderful bedroom community. You know, it just seemed to be a place where everybody liked everybody. I work in Jackson at the Postal Service, but I've been here in Albion. I was able to raise my 4 children here in Albion, and it's just been a wonderful place for us to move to and to be a part of. And I love that Albion has always had many activities. That's the one thing I love about Albion, that they keep the activities flowing, and the community is a melting pot, you know, where everybody kind of gets along, and we're like brothers and sisters in the community. Great place to live.
Yeah. So how long have you been in Albion then about?
I've been in Albion, I want to say over 30 years.
Okay.
Because I came here right out of college.
Okay.
When I graduated from Central Michigan University, I came to Albion. I had an opportunity to live in some of the surrounding areas, but I got good reviews about Albion being a smaller place, and I could fit in easier and know people better. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing that you stayed here and been able to raise your family and continue to have roots then. Yeah. So you mentioned it a little bit before with your love for sewing, but what really sparked your interest and want to create tote bags?
Tote bags, and that's very interesting because I received my MBA from Spring Arbor University.
Okay.
So I knew I wanted to do something in business, but I didn't necessarily want to create a big business, but something I could do at home. I have a love for arts. I love the creativeness about these particular bags here. And I like to do bags that create a theme. You know, you can easily take fabric and just make a bag. But I wanted my bags to be able to be representative of the person, part of their personality. Yeah. If you're a sports lover, you would love a bag that represented sports like Tigers or Detroit Lions. So that's really what got me going. I wanted to use my creative part.
Oh yeah,
I've been very creative. It was another way to express my creativity. I'm not going to do it mainly in dress So creating a bag that other people would feel comfortable carrying. Something simple, not complex. They're all lined. They have pockets, making it durable for the everyday person.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you said that when you were younger, you were kind of like, okay, I learned the skill, but don't think I'm going to do anything else with it. What kind of led you back to sewing then?
I think it was the ability. I have one true story. I was headed to Ghana, and I said, I want to get a bag. I want a bag, a regular tote bag, because over there things are simple. So I went to Joanne Fabric, and I took a class.
Okay.
I took a class, and they said they would show me how to make a tote. So I said, I just want a tote to carry to Ghana. It was in mainly around in July, and I said, just want something colorful. It's Africa, so I want something colorful. So I signed up for the class, and I made one tote bag that I was going to carry. And once I made one tote bag, people started asking me for a tote bag. They said, you made that? I said, yeah. I've always known how to sew, but the tote bag and getting fabric and material, I kind of been out of the flow for a long time. And so after I took that class at Joanne Fabric, very inexpensive class, we made the tote in class, and I brought it home. I started showing it to my friends. I'm going to Ghana, I'm carrying this tote. And they were like, well, can you make me a bag? And I was like, yeah. So over time, Cassie, I've been able to add more. My first bags were very simple. They were just bags, and I wanted to line the bag so that people could see the value, something sturdy. And then people said, can we get a pocket on it? So I added a pocket. Then the first bags were not as sturdy, so I started buying belting, heavier belting, so that you could carry it. This bag is not only for women. I make bags that men carry as well.
Yeah, I mean, a tote bag's a tote bag.
A tote bag's a tote bag. Yeah. And what does people say? I have so many totes. But they buy that tote because it represents them. You know, oh, that one's got, I love flowers, or I love butterflies, or it's a Christian bag. I want that one. So that's how I kind of got back in the swing of it. I took a class at Joanne Fabrics in Jackson, Michigan.
Wow.
And from there, I just got inspiration. I started seeing fabrics with all these different things on butterflies and horses and sports, and I just started making bags.
The options are endless, especially when you're in a fabric or a craft store. You're like, oh, I could be doing this, I could be doing that. I do the same things.
Finding other people that had a love for sewing too. So they
that's great. So do you have kind of like a community of people that you kind of know that also do sewing since you took the class at Joanne's, or is it kind of just a one-woman show and you just do you and enjoy your space?
I think it's just me.
Yeah.
Just kind of enjoying my space. You know, when you work and you come home and you find something that you like to do. You know, I love to garden, but Michigan doesn't have a lot of warm seasons. So I like to sew. You know, I found out that I really like to sew. I like sitting, and I spread out my dining room table and cut out my fabric, and it's kind of like an assembly line. I'll cut out all the fabrics I want to sew today, and then I'll just put them all together and sew them all together.
So do you mostly just do tote bags then, or is there any other things that you've kind of dabbled into?
Yeah, I just expanded. Actually, in 2024, I went to a show in Marshall, and a man came up to me and he said, you know, I love your totes. He said, but when you're working in this type of business, you got to sell more than just one item.
Right.
So I started doing scrunchies and bandanas, and I love bandanas. I love to wear them. So I started doing bandanas and scrunchies and things like that. So I've expanded. I have expanded.
Yeah.
I've expanded some.
That's exciting. I think that's a really fun way to be able to kind of like move around to without going into dresses or going, like, who couldn't do another like scrunchie or a bandana and such? Like, that's an easier accessory than like this person that has to be able to fit into this apparel piece that you make. You know, that's a little bit more niche for like, oh, I love this pattern, but it's not my size. Like,
and I want to adapt to all ages of people too.
Yeah.
You know, I noticed that the younger ones, they like to wear wraps and scarves and bandanas and scrunchies, and so I wanted to get something that could be, and young girls too, like the younger children, they love to wear. Believe it or not, I've had quite a few little young boys that like to wear bandanas.
Oh, yeah.
And, and then the young girls with the scrunchies. So it's kind of universal for all ages. So that worked out well.
So your friends were asking for these bags. I'm sure you were just like kind of thinking, oh yeah, I could do this. What then made you want to push even further to create a business from these talents?
Well, one of the things is I wanted to add a small business to our community because I know our community, we're struggling to get businesses in our downtown area. And even if I'm not going to necessarily have a site location, when we have events or when we're featuring something, our Festival of the Forks, just to show that Albion has much talent. You know, there are many people here that have created businesses and, you know, soap businesses and pottery. Like it's all your pottery business. How creative was that?
Thank you.
So, you know, just to show that Albion has a lot of talent and that our talent can expand and it's a product that people want, they enjoy, they love, it's reasonable, it's economical. So that's one of the reasons too, just to create something in Albion, a business in Albion that meets the needs of our community.
So what's your favorite part about creating the tote bags and or running your business side of things?
Actually, I kind of like them both. You know, one of the things, I've invested some things like you want to have a durable tent set up or, you know, canopy, you know, so searching for a canopy that would mark my business. I selected a brown one. Something that I could go and spend maybe more than one day at an event, you know, be able to zip it down. But I actually think the creative part of going into a Joann's Fabric or a small fabric shop or a Hobby Lobby and just staying in there for hours looking at fabric. You know, people know if you come with me to the store, I'm going to be in there for a minute. I'm going to be looking at all the fabrics. And
so many options.
So many options. I'm going to look. If I tell you, we'll just be in there for a minute, don't believe me. We're gonna be in there for a while.
What continues to motivate you to create these bags and go to the different vendors or like the small business pop-ups and stuff?
Well, you know, actually, I would love to see, I have a granddaughter that's 10 years old. I would love to encourage her and to inspire her to be creative on her own. You know, well, we do have 9-to-5 jobs, but if you really want to go outside the box, out the parameters, and you really want to create something that represents you, I'm trying to inspire her that you can do that with the talent that you have. Once you find the talent that you have, you can do that. So oftentimes when I'm sewing, I will get her to cut out a pocket, you know, just to inspire her that, you know, this is something perhaps I can leave you, you know, at least with the ideal and with the notion that business is not as difficult as you think it is. You know, once you create the purpose of your business, the product, you know, you can just begin to expand at all different levels. And I want to leave a legacy to her that, you know, we have the opportunity. We can't say, well, I can't find a job, because the ability and the creative notions are within you, and you just have to explore. And I want to leave that legacy with her.
That's wonderful. It's a wonderful motivation and just, you know, passion for creating and just wanting to share that with younger generations. It kind of leads into my next question of do you have any advice for other creators who are either looking to start a small business themselves or trying to find that passion that could become their small business?
I really do have a scripture that I love, and it says, "Do not despise your small beginnings, because you can greatly be enlarged later." So I would say you have an idea and you want to start at the top, but you really need to start at the bottom and begin to create it and develop it. And that would be the advice I would say. Start where you are. You know, you may see someone else with a large enterprise, but start where you are. I've even thought before, you know, because I can create the bag, we do have automation. We do have robotics, and we do have AI and different technologies that are coming along. Perhaps I can create a bag and technology down the road, you know, and my granddaughter's generation can fabricate these bags much more quicker than me sitting and making one bag at a time. So I would say start where you are. Do not despise the small beginning, but know that you can greatly be increased later on. You can add on to your business. Yeah, I would say that I was inspired. God has given me my inspiration, in knowing that we can do all things, and my inspiration is that He gave me a creative idea, and that's part of what my biblical foundation states, that He will give us inventive ideas and innovative ideas. And I believe that my idea is more than just a tote and more than just fabric, but it also represents a lifestyle for some people. This is your lifestyle. It represents maybe how casual they are. And maybe some people are high fashion. So maybe I have a friend that has purchased at least 12 bags from me because she likes to match them up with her outfits. So it's versatile. So I think if that's one of the things that have stuck with me, that God gave me a creative idea, but not just for me. It was for others. I hope that my bags will be something that will represent other people's lifestyle and other people's desires and taste. And so that's what inspires me. Just an innovative idea that I believe was inspired by God.
That's always wonderful to know where your inspiration kind of stems from, and being able to work from there, so that way you always know what you're rooted in.
Yes.
You know what your purpose is in that way. So.
And you'll stay the long haul. Once you're rooted and grounded in where you are, you'll stay the long haul forward. There are days I don't feel like sewing, and there are other days I get up and that's all I want to do is just sew. And create, or, you have different facets of the business. You're sewing some days, you're creating your market, you're advertising. There are other times that you're out shopping for fabric, you're testing your product. And also the ability to give away some of the products. Sometimes I'll see people with a need and I'll say, I'm going to give you a bag. Or my husband said, well, give me another fishing bag. Give me another fishing bag. Give me a hunting bag. Or give me a boat bag. So to be able to give back and to give away is always very special as well.
So one of my favorite questions to ask the guests as we wrap up the podcast is, looking more broadly at Albion in general, what do you hope for the future of Albion?
I envision Albion one day becoming a very industrious place again. I came at a time where Albion had lost a lot of their, like Kmart was here and some of the big retailers was here. I believe there was a hospital here at one time, and it seemed like a very productive place to be at. But I envision that Albion is going to come back in a different way. Perhaps it will be a mixture of small businesses mixed with large enterprise. And I just believe that one day our streets are going to be completely filled with businesses, and we're going to have a mixture of different generations that have been inspired to create something, if not a product, perhaps a service even. So I believe that Albion is on its way to a great future. It won't be like it was before, but different is not always bad.
Yeah.
I think it can be different. And, with Albion College here, that's always a plus and an asset. Albion College floods our community with different young people that's here. And though they're only here for maybe 4 years, 5 years, they leave a deposit. They leave their energy, that inspires us that this is not dead. This will come alive again in a greater way.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And if you enjoyed this episode and you're interested in more inspiring local business stories, check out episode 1 of season 3 with guest Ian Barbour. That's it for this episode of Brick by Brick. We'll be back with more stories from the heart of Albion. Until then, keep exploring, keep connecting, and keep building Albion's future.